HMIs, human machine interfaces. Let's get learning how to use them, configure them, and start messing with these things now in Siemens on our S7 1200 and inside our TIA portal. So let's talk about wiring first. You can see I have an HMI here. The wiring on the back looks like this. We have an L plus. See if we can get it zoomed in here. We have an L plus and an M. We have a USB slot, and we have a Profinet or a LAN spot. So to work with this HMI, we basically need two things. We need power and we need network. The USB function is for updating things on the HMI, pulling the program off. But we need a positive and a negative 24 volts, and we need an Ethernet. So that's the wiring there. You can see I have my wiring, my 24 volts coming up to here. I also have an Ethernet cable. You will have to have some sort of Ethernet switch, or else you'll be doing a lot of plugging and unplugging. Our PLCs we have in class only have one Ethernet port on the front of the PLC. So if you have that going to your HMI, you have no way to communicate, no way to plug your laptop in. So grab yourself one of these CMS 1277 Simtac network switches. That way it gives you a bunch of ports. You can plug your PLC, you can plug your HMI and your computer with one spot left over. And you don't have to plug and unplug everything. So that's the wiring. So you got it wired, you have it powered on, and it pops up. Now mine is on a program that I have in it right now. We will talk about configuring here in a second. You'll see the startup screen once it's powered on, and that's where we'll get started. All right, on a fresh power up, you'll see something like this, not a program. If you do see a program, power cycle it. Sometimes in the settings, you can set, the last programmer could have set their program to start up automatically. So if it starts up to someone else's program, power cycle it, on power up, hit F1, and it will bring you to the start screen here. The start center here has a couple options. Has transfer. This is checking your Profinet connection. So waiting for transfer. If I was to load to this HMI, I could see my program being loaded in here. I have start. Start is how I would start a program. So if I wanted to go back to my Thaddeus Stevens clock that I had on there, I could hit start and it would start running my program. And then settings. Settings are just all of the different things inside your HMI. Service and commissioning, HMI, sound, system, network interface, touch, display, screensavers, a bunch of different options. Dive into there. If I come to system, you can see I have a couple different options here. If you hit this, there is scroll down right here. So there is a couple different options inside of each one. It doesn't just have start runtime. But that is what your HMI will be looking like on a fresh power up, something like that. All right, now we're ready to add our HMI to our program. We can't do much with it unless we can program it, send code to it, manipulate it. So I have a basic project started up here. I have added my PLC from a previous project. That is all set up and configured. We want to add an HMI. So just like adding your PLC, you come up here to new device. And normally you're sitting here on controllers, right? Then you would come to an S7 1200, you'd find your controller. We just want to select HMI. We have that same list of different types of panels, different types of HMIs. So you may be asking now, well, what HMI do I have? So let's take a look at the back of this. So if you look at the back of a Siemens HMI, you can see here, the name is always right up here above the QR code, if I can get that to focus. But we have a KTP 400 basic. So naturally up here, it says basic panel. So I'm going to select that. Now we have a bunch of inches of displays. The display in inches is always relative to the number. So the 400, that takes me to a 4-inch display. If it would say 1200, I'd be down here in the 12-inch display. So I'm going to click on 12. We have a KTP 400 basic. I'm going to click there. And now, just like our PLCs, I have a couple different models. So if I come here to the back of our HMI, you can see my model number. I can get this to focus. My model number is ending in 0AX0. So I can come over here and I can click that. And now that is my HMI. So the last thing to pay attention to is this version number. Not all HMIs in our classroom are on the same version. We've tried to update them, but doesn't mean we haven't bought one used or we haven't missed one. So we need to check that you're on the right version before you hit OK, or else your HMI will not connect. So down here in the corner, if we come to settings and we come to system control and info, we have to scroll down on this list here to the very bottom. We find system info. I can make that big again. So here you can see what our device name is, and you can see our image version. So I'm on 1700. There's some numbers after that, but if you look at this list here, it's mainly what the first couple are, right? So I am on 1700. So I know that I'm on the right version for this HMI. So now I can hit OK. That will load, do its thing. Here in a second, we will get the startup screen for that, and I will jump back. Our HMI device wizard has now popped up. This is just a quick setup for our HMI. Have a couple settings we need to connect, mainly to connect the PLC to the HMI. So you can see here on our first one, it's asking for PLC connection. Configure the PLC connection or connections. So down here, under Select PLC, I'm going to hit Browse. I only have one PLC in this project on this network. If maybe we were connected to a factory network, we would see a list of PLCs here, anything that would be on the network. We're only dealing with one, so it's the first choice right here. So I'll click on PLC, make sure my CPU is the same, and hit OK. So it's made that connection there. It has configured the communication driver, and it says it is on Profinet line X1. I'm going to hit next. There's a bunch of different options here. Most of them for your first project, we can just skip and go ahead and hit finish. But if you just take a look at things, right, so we can't change our resolution. If I wanted to change my background color, Siemens has that standard gray color. If I wanted to make my background color purple, right? So there's that. If I wanted the Siemens header on the top, if I wanted the time and date, if I didn't want the Siemens logo, right? These are all options I could check there. Alarm screen. We won't be dealing with alarms quite yet, but these are all your alarm pop-ups. So same thing. I can turn them off, turn them on. Screens. If you know you want a certain amount of screens on your HMI, we can add them here. But right now for our first project, the root screen is good. Some system screens, we can also add some system setup screens in the same manner there. And then some generic buttons. So system buttons across the bottom, we can add those here. But if we were the whole way back at the beginning here, as long as you make this connection, you can do all of these things at a later date. I'm going to hit finish. And there we go. Our HMI is added to the project. If you come over here on our project tree, you can notice it just got added below our PLC. So if I minimize these, right, we have our PLC and we have our HMI. Both of them have drop-down menus. Both of them have tag managements, and they are connected. If I come to devices and networks here, I should see I have my PLC, I have my HMI, and I have a green connection line between the two, symbolizing that Ethernet cable. So now my PLC and HMI are both added to the project. Let's go online and start programming. We have everything now added in our program. Last step is to compile and download to our program to get whatever we've configured onto our HMI and PLC. I am going to show the process of just downloading a blank program, but we should see our purple root screen pop up here, but the process is the same. So one thing to notice, if you're using these buttons up here, right, if you're using the compile and download go online buttons, these are active for whatever you are selected, right? So if I'm selected on my PLC, that is compile and download to my PLC. If I am selected on my HMI, that is the same. So always remember where you're at. Remember, you can also right click here and do compile and downloads this way. This is how I'm going to do it. But just remember, if you're clicked on one or the other, that changes what these quick buttons are associated with. So I've already downloaded a blank program to my PLC. Let's right click on our HMI and let's do a compile. And the first time I hook up to a new HMI, now I know I have connected to this one, but I like to do a hardware and a software rebuild all just to confirm that everything is correct. So we have no warnings there. Do a software as well. We should have no warnings there as well. You can see down here, it is 20% complete as it works its way through. Software takes a little bit longer. So we have some warnings down here, but just template issues. We can still download with warnings. So now let's download. So let's do a download to device, software all. We get this screen right here to make this HMI connection. Our HMI IP address can be found here in our settings. If we go to settings, we go to network settings. Oh, not network settings. Maybe just network interface. There we go. So we go to settings and network interface. There is our IP address right there. So we should make sure, now this pulled in HMI, Syntec HMI, but we should make sure this is the same. By default for Siemens, the PLCs are always 192.168.0.1, and the HMIs are always 2. Doesn't have to be that way. Just normally, most of the time, it's going to be 2. So now we found our HMI. We could flash it and confirm that that is our HMI, right? We can see our HMIs flashing over here. And now, since we confirmed it, we click on it and we load. Just like our PLC, we get our load preview. We can hit overwrite all, overwrite if objects exist online. So if anything is on the HMI, it will be overwritten. And then fit component with a different version installed at target device. We selected the right version. It may just be that this was 17.00001. I always just check both those boxes. Now see we have the blue, and we load. So it looks like I have an error down here. Download failed. So looks like I have an error right here for starting this download. Let me look into it, and I will come back and explain what I found. All right, I'm back. Got that figured out. So let's come to here. Let's do a download software off. And where my mistake was there is not checking that fit button. So I clicked my override button. I did not check this fit button. So it did not like when I hit fit for a more recent compatible firmware image. So I just hit override and load. And then we can see over here on our panel view, we have a blinking light for our Profinet, meaning we're starting to transfer. And our runtime is now starting. Runtime is what the file is called when you're running your HMI. So you can see over here, we have our purple root screen with the options that are preloaded on it. It just says welcome to HMI_1 KPT 400 basic. So that is how we get started with our HMI and get it connected to our PLC. Now in the next video, we are ready to start manipulating it.